Yo, what's good? It's me, Don Weep here, and I'm having a wonderful day. Hope you all are too. And welcome back to part 10 of What If Deku from My Hero Academia had Chakra. If you guys want more of this series and other series to come, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the notification bell, the subscribe button. We just hit 8K like a few days ago. Pretty happy about it. We're going strong to 10K. That's the goal for 2020. So let's do it. Let's get there. Anyway, if you can share if anyone else you know who might like anime and these kind of what if videos and other things I do. And feel free to check out my Discord server, which will be in the description below, as well as my second channel. I'll be posting more gameplay stuff on there soon. So the next episode for Ori and the Blind Forest playthrough will be coming out as well as this. Anyway, let's just get into this part for What If Deku had Chakra. Deku blasts Gang Orca with a Water Dragon Jutsu. Water Dragon Jutsu! As Deku uses all of his chakra in this final attack, hoping to take Gang Orca out in a strong blast of water. Unfortunately for Deku, who had been studying heroes for such a long time, had actually missed the fact that Gang Orca gets powered up by taking in water, and his skin actually, by absorbing water, made him more powerful, as Gang Orca then buffs up, feeling the Water Dragon's chakra basically flow through him and give him a small boost. As Deku's shocked as he falls back on his feet, now laying on the ground completely motionless, Uraraka as well as Todoroki and Shiketsu High students would run over to try and defend Deku as Gang Orca was about to attack. Todoroki would send out a blast of heat towards Gang Orca just to use as a sound wave attack. Deku would hold up his hand trying to block the force of the attack as the heat strikes into Gang Orca as well as the sound a wave that Gang Orca had used is about to hit the group. Inasa and Todoroki would both use their respective quirks, as they use wind and fire to surround Gang Orca, slowly taking the oxygen out of inside this flaming tornado. The fire sent by Todoroki is then controlled using the winds to make down pressure to keep the flames in a spinning rotation, basically following the same principles of the Rasengan as Deku would be thinking. As Deku's watching, Gang Orca is beginning to lose his hydration, as he's beginning to pass out from the lack of oxygen. Gang Orca would eventually be timed out as the timer for having to protect everyone would ring, and both students would stop as Gang Orca would finally withhold the attack and burst out of the flame tornado, saying that they did a really good job. Deku would be exhausted, breathing in heavily and out, as he tells everyone he's fine, as Todoroki would help him up and carry him back to the rest of the UA class, as they see Deku there, now completely exhausted. Bakugo would make fun of Deku, as Deku would then ask him if he even got his provisional license. Bakugo would shrug, as he then says that it's none of his business by telling him he's an idiot as he walks away. Deku would get his provisional license as they take a picture of him with him looking completely wiped out as he sends a picture to All Might. All Might would tell him that he did a really good job, and Deku would thank him, saying that he tried to do his best and be like him, as All Might would actually blush from this on the other side of the phone. Most of class 1A would have passed the exam, with Todoroki as well as Bakugo being the only two who have failed due to their personality flaws and losing points, while Deku had aced it with flying colors pretty much. Classes would resume to normal pretty much, with Shiketsu and Yue having sort of made up through Todoroki and Inuyasa's smoothing over the relationship between the two. Anyhow, as now the provisional license exam is finally over, everyone would head back to classes. A few days after their provisional license exam test, Deku as well as the majority of the class who had gained their license would be challenged by Mirio and the Big Three, as they meant to go meet them and explain to them about the work studies that they'd be doing coming up soon, and how it was special for first years to get this opportunity, with all the new villains running around and causing havoc across Japan, as well as the world now. Deku would be excited as he sees the Big Three, thinking these are the strongest people in UA. Mirio would see Deku, and he would immediately think that he wanted to challenge him, as this is when he would challenge the class to say that they'd all have to fight him at once and see if they can win. Deku would immediately think this guy's way too overconfident, as they would head to the gymnasium as he begins to tell them to get ready. Everyone would begin to square up as they get ready for the fight. Suddenly Mirio would disappear as he goes underground. Is he teleporting? Is that the flying Raijin jutsu? He would think, as suddenly Mirio would pop up directly behind one of his classmates, specifically Kirishima, as he then throws a full power punch, screaming, "Power!" as he does so, knocking Kirishima out of the area. I'm gonna have to find some way to counteract this guy, he would think. He's too fast for me to deal with on the ground. So, if I can get somewhere up, even if he can teleport to me, I have the advantage in the air, Deku would think. He would jump as high as he can using chakra and pushing it into his legs, shooting up to the ceiling, as he then turns around, clapping his feet against the top of the ceiling and attaching himself to it using chakra, as he uses chakra to walk on top of the ceiling, looking down. Deku would warn them, saying he thinks it's some kind of teleportation, as Mirio would then say that's not it, as he pops out of the ground again and then punches Mina, sending her flying back. Damn it, he would think. Deku would then quickly create a fire bullet jutsu as he blasts it towards Mirio. One of the bullets would make it barely in time, as Mirio then teleports away again. And Deku would have saw it. Wait a minute, Deku would think, as he sees the flame in his head hit into Mirio and phase right through him. Could that be, he would think, as he realizes that this must be an advanced version of that jutsu. Particle style, he would think. Mirio is the person who is part of the family that would have inherited the genes to have particle style from the Stone Village. This guy, if he can use particle style, then there's a way I can beat him, he would think. As Mirio uses his own quirk, which is basically an evolved version of particle style that lets him phase through things and alter his body and the actual particles within his body, Deku would come up with a way to counteract this. Deku would jump off the ceiling as he starts going towards the ground, telling everyone to jump into the air right now. Immediately, as he knows that Mirio isn't teleporting, that he's using particle style to phase through the ground and then pop back up, Mirio would jump out of the ground, prepared to take the student he had predicted, as he now takes a breath of air. As he's about to throw the punch, however, instead of the student he had originally picked, he would see Deku flying down towards him. I'll get you this time, he would think. Little does he know that I also have my own type of power. He would then use it, as Deku's face would begin covered with black lines as he opens his eyes, and now he has Sage Mode activated. Wood Style! As Deku uses Wood Style, he would create ceiling totems, as he uses the ceiling jutsu all around Mirio before he can pop underground again. By disabling the chakra that's within Mirio in particle style, and actually restraining it using ceiling jutsu, Deku can stop Mirio's basically instant teleportation by using his quirk to phase through things. Mirio would have to get outside of the totems in order to actually be able to use his quirk again. As he realizes what's going on, he's trying to run out. However, as he pushes his foot off the ground, Deku would land just in front of him, as he has his fist held back. Rasengan. As he pushes his hand forward with a full thrust directly into Mirio's chest, the power of the Rasengan explodes as the spinning circulates inside of now Mirio's abdomen. Mirio would fall back as he falls to the ground, taking the first hit he's ever had that's that hard, with Deku having figured out his quirk so fast in such little time, and being able to even counter it. This guy is amazing, Mirio would think, as he's smiling, thinking this guy is crazy strong. Deku would deactivate the one opponent totem, saying he got a hit on Mirio, with Mirio having said before, cockily, that if even one of them could have landed a single hit on him, then he would admit defeat. Mirio would sigh as he's annoyed, saying he wanted to fight Deku more, as he asked Midoriya what his name is. Deku would introduce himself as Izuku Midoriya, and he would reach out his hand telling Mirio it's actually kind of nice to see him, with Mirio being puzzled by this, as Deku had only met Aizawa, being the only last descendant of the Uchihas, so he was hoping that there were some other people whom he might be able to relate to who might have chakra-related abilities that he could identify. Mirio would be confused by this comment, but he'd brush it off, as everyone's now more at ease, with Mirio putting his clothes back on to the relief of everyone in class. As Mirio would tell Deku he's crazy strong, and that he wants to introduce him to someone, Deku would be interested, asking what he means. He would remind him of the work studies that'd be coming up soon, and he tells him that he would like him to meet his sensei and teacher, otherwise known as Nighteye, as everyone is aware of. Deku would be very interested in this proposal, saying he knows all about Nighteye as he smiles, telling him about the facts that Nighteye used to be an actual sidekick of All Might. Mirio moved the conversation away as he and Deku walk off, pretending to talk more about All Might and Nighteye, with losing everyone's suspicions. Deku would then suddenly talks more serious as he asks Mirio how he's been coming along with One for All. If you guys remember, Deku actually had trained with Mirio before and has already met him, back when they had actually started this all in part 1, with All Might having given the power to Mirio and training with Deku back 10 months ago. So the two are actually quite good acquaintances already. Mirio would have already been updating Deku on the situation that's been going on with Overhaul, as All Might and Nighteye had been planning on bringing Deku into the fold sometime soon anyway, as his skills as a shinobi and stealth are on par, if not greater, than some of the other stealth-like heroes. so Deku would be a perfect operative to go in and investigate what's going on. Mirio would tell him that he's been working on mastering One For All, and that it's a lot different than his actual normal quirk, as Deku would notice that he actually used a bit of One For All when he was fighting the students as his fellow classmates today. Mirio would nod, saying that trying to combine the two of his quirks together has been a bit tough, as if he activates both, then when he phases through, his control isn't as good. As if you gotta remember, Mirio's quirk he had to train a lot harder than most people in order to master to the perfect degree that he had to before. So getting used to using One For All, which boosts the quirk's power as well, must be extremely difficult for Mirio especially, particularly because of how much control he had over his quirk. So Deku would still be working with Mirio on helping him control One For All, and the two would end their conversation there saying that Deku would meet up with him at Night-Eye's office. With Deku then talking to All Might, saying that he'd be meeting up with Night-Eye and Mirio soon. All Might would cringe a little, as he remembers his last conversation when he had told Night-Eye about Deku. Night-Eye had seemed a bit awkward of him, as if you all remember that argument they had a few years ago of All Might's death. With that happening, and their conversation still being awkward as the two hadn't completely forgiven each other, Deku would still be sent to go work with Night-Eye and tested to see if Night-Eye would accept him. Work studies would come and Deku would be sent off as he goes to this work study at Night-Eye's, where he sees all the All Might posters, complimenting Night-Eye on his taste and saying he hasn't even seen that one before, as he points to one of the anniversary flags that he himself didn't even possess. Mirio told Deku about the condition that he should try to make Night-Eye laugh. Deku would look at him with a serious face and ask him if he really thinks that he can make anyone laugh. Mirio would think about that for a second and then laugh himself, saying that's unlikely, and then tell him about the other option, which Deku would go with, saying that should be much easier for him. Even if someone can predict his actions, he would think, there's no way that he can know everything that I am able to do, and even if he can know what I'm going to do, there's no way he can fight against it. Deku would walk into the office as he and Night-Eye lock eye contact, with Night-Eye being less abrasive against Deku this time still, because he's not declaring himself All Might's apprentice, and him actually being pretty powerful without All Might's power at all. So he's not thinking of him as the rival to Mirio, as in like One For All's rival, the one who he had taken One For All from Mirio, since Mirio has One For All in this timeline, and instead just thinking of a potential pupil, so he wouldn't be as harsh on him and make fun of All Might or anything. Deku would ask Night-Eye about this test that he has to take, with Night-Eye showing him the paperweight and throwing up in the air, telling him if he can grab this from him or make him laugh, then he'll accept him as under his work study. Deku would narrow his eyes as he tells him that he's going to take that paperweight no matter what, as Night-Eye and Deku would begin. Before anything starts, though, Deku would then say he'd like Night-Eye to touch him. Burner. He would tell Night-Eye to touch him so that way he can use his quirk on him, with Night-Eye being flabbergasted as he asks what does he even mean, as Deku would then tell him that in order for his quirk to work, he has to have physical contact with the target. Am I wrong? You would really give yourself that much of a disadvantage. You're pretty confident in yourself, huh? He would walk over as he gently if Deku holding his arm out, as he then gently touches Deku's arm, forcing into the future, saying he's definitely going to beat this kid. As he sees something in the future, his eyes would widen, thinking there's no way he'd do something so crazy, as he would then tell him he can do anything to damage this room. Deku would smile, as he says, alright. As suddenly, Deku would then create several hundred shadow clones surrounding the walls of the room, including everywhere, blocking the door and every wall path. As he creates so many shadow clones, he would then enter Sage Mode himself, telling Night-Eye if he doesn't want to die, then he should put the paperweight down. Mirio would be shocked with his mouth open as all the clones begin to walk in slowly towards Night-Eye, with Night-Eye actually being surrounded. Night-Eye would begin to attack the clones, and just as the smoke begins to fill the room, Night-Eye, with Deku having now testing his future vision, would dodge to the right. Deku would say that this attack can't be dodged, as he then uses Wood Style, Deep Emergence Jutsu. This is when Night-Eye gets slammed into by a literal force exploding out of his office, as Night-Eye is now on top of a tree, taking the hit by Deku. With such a wide spray of attack, Night-Eye isn't fast enough to dodge the Wood Style, as even if he could see it beforehand, there's no way you can dodge a force moving at you that fast, as Deku then would deactivate Wood Style, absorbing it as the building now is falling down. He'd create another Shadow Clone which would lift him up and throw him at Night-Eye, telling him that he's going to take that paperweight, as Deku would then create two Rasengans in both his hands and slam them together just before he hits Night-Eye, with Night-Eye moving out of the way, as the repercussion of the blast would knock Night-Eye off course. As Night-Eye's falling to the ground with Mirio watching in awe at this fight, Deku would then say it's almost over, as he then creates now 10 Shadow Clones, with each of them using a bullet jutsu, as all of them use different bullet jutsus blasted towards Night-Eye. Night-Eye tries to dodge out of the way of every single one, looking to the future of each second. As he's distracted, however, this is when Deku would now come down to the ground below, telling him that if he wants to not die, then he will give him that paperweight. As he holds his hand out, telling Nighteye that he'll stop them immediately as he does so. Nighteye would say that there's no way he could get him to ever do that. Deku would sigh, as he then would deactivate his shadow clone, saying they can easily do this. As he would then breathe in, sexy jutsu. This is when he creates the jutsu and used from Naruto Uzumaki, and would create a sexy version of All Might. Nighteye would be shocked as his mouth is gaping open as he sees All Might in this way. With Nighteye standing stock still, Deku would just calmly walk forward as he grabs the paperweight out of his hand, with Nighteye falling to the ground before his nose starts to bleed. Mirio would be shocked, as even when Nighteye had seen this prediction, he had no idea that he'd actually be able to do this, thinking that it was crazy of how versatile a quirk could be like this. As Deku would hold the paperweight, flipping up into the air, and then eventually giving it back to Nighteye, he'd say he thinks that he passed the test. As Nighteye would look up at him shocked that one of his predictions he could actually fail at beating. With Nighteye being helped up by Mirio, and him now accepting Deku as a student, he would say that it was good to have Mirio training with Deku, as he can tell he's very strong, and will probably make an incredible hero in the future. Deku would say thanks to him, as it's now made official that Deku is under Nighteye as his pupil. With Deku now working underneath Nighteye along with Mirio, doing checks around the city and working for him, both him and Mirio would be briefed more about the Overhaul incident, as well as what's going on with the Yakuza organization and their current target of what they're searching for. Deku would be rather concerned about this, as he hears something that's rather disturbing to him. No way, he would think, as he's shocked with hearing about this. This organization has been gathering humongous beasts, with the recent being a ginormous fox that has 9 tails. They've been storing them in this underground facility. We don't know what purpose they have, and they also have this young girl that's been attached to their leader this entire time. Overhaul has never left her side, not even for a moment. This guy, there's no way, he would think, Deku being shocked that Overhaul is going after and capturing the tailed beasts. If you guys want to see the next part for What If Deku had Chakra, make sure to hit the like button, comment down below what you thought of this, and subscribe to the channel for more. If you guys want to see why Overhaul is gathering the tailed beasts, as well as what Eri has to do with all of this, then make sure to try and see the next episode. Hopefully it'll be coming out sooner rather than later, and I'll see all of you guys next time. Hope you all have a happy Halloween. I'll be having a Halloween special video coming out soon, so yeah, I'll see you all later. Goodbye.